Well, hey, how's everybody doing today? Good, I hope. It's Sunday afternoon, and wow, okay, what a week it's been. Sorry, I was monitoring this thing and still wanting to do the thing where the microphone level just jumps up, and I have no idea why. Still have not figured that out. I'm thinking it might be a wire issue, maybe. I'm not sure. But welcome to Josh's World on the Semicore Studios Network. I am Josh. Of course I am. Show called Josh's World. The host should be named Josh. I'm a little nitpicky like that, I guess. Just jumping straight up there. Not a fan of that. Not a fan. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is the show where I talk about the stuff that's important to me. And you know what? I enjoyed it. So it's sort of like a self therapy, getting your thoughts and ideas out there into the world, and getting a little bit of feedback every now and then on people's opinions of those opinions. Today's episode is all about friendship. Friendship. It means a lot of things to a lot of different people, and I think maybe one of the few things that everybody is universally agreeing upon is, you know, having somebody, whether you call them a friend, an acquaintance, coworker, whatever, having somebody to talk to about the things that you care about is important. You need a way to let out what's inside and have somebody there that's listening to what you're saying and investing something in you with their time. No matter your age, demographic, where you're from, anything like that. Everybody needs somebody. And the requirements for titles, to some, it's pretty important. There are people out there that take great pride in how many friends they have. I know I know a few people that look at their Facebook friends count and put a lot of put a lot of stock in that. And every once in a while you'll see an argument break out on Facebook between two people that don't know each other. And they'll say, "You only have like 14 friends." And they put stock in that. They're like, "Well, you're so unlikable that nobody is wanting to be friends with you." I mean, could be true, I guess, but I more prefer to see it as maybe somebody that keeps their social media circle small, and there's nothing wrong with that. But friends, you have them, you want them, even if you say you don't have them, you have them. Everybody's got friends. I say I hate people all the time. People are the worst. But I have friends. I even have friends that come over to my house, my sanctuary. And I don't like people coming over because it makes me feel I am under some sort of obligation to to maintain a super tidy residence. I don't mind things being out of place a little bit. Yeah, there's And there's a difference between being, you know, untidy and unclean. But that's a show for a different day. But I'm just saying that when it comes to having people come over, I'm not a fan. So when Kevin pops in from time to time, I am actually looking forward to it because it is such a seldom thing to have, you know, company. I do think that as we get older, our group of friends naturally diminishes a bit. There's a person I've been calling my best friend since seventh grade, and his name's Sean. We keep in touch, you know, Facebook friends. Send a message, an odd message back and forth every once in a while, but it's certainly not the same as it was back in middle school, where we would walk literally miles every day to hang out. And this was the time before cell phones were as widely available as they are now. So if you called and the phone was busy, you know, dude's got sisters. Chances are the phone could be busy. And you roll the dice and you hope, oh, I hope he doesn't have plans today. Then you walk the 5 miles. You show up at the front door, and sometimes it's, yeah, dude, let's hang out. And sometimes it's, oh, he's not here. And you're left wondering what you're doing with your life. No, that's middle school. You had nothing but time to waste in middle school. But friendship, you know, when you're a kid, it's, you know, it's been said before, it's really easy to make friends. Sometimes you just show up somewhere, you see somebody, and bam, you lock eyes and you're like, oh, we're friends now. Yes. You wearing that X-Men shirt? You are now my homie. And sometimes it can be like that when you're an adult too. Um, I've mentioned it before. I play video games. Of course, I play video games. I'm 39 years old. Of course, I play video games. And every once in a while, you know, okay, maybe a little more than every once in a while, I will hop on Apex Legends with my club, Simicore Squads. Hit us up, SES. And in particular, um, you know, there's a few people there that I actually consider friends. They're good people. That's why I keep them around. That's why they're in the club. But one friend in particular, Matt, you might know him from Matt and Josh McList. We, it started off with a Hamilton reference. And both of us were a little surprised that, you know, we're picking up on our references here. Then that moved to community, and all these conversations eventually became the podcast that is Matt and Josh make lists. But it's things like that when you just say some offhand comment, right, that references some particular pop culture thing, and when somebody picks up on it, it's like you're sending out the bad signal. Then there's another one. When you make these obscure pop culture references, you find your people quicker. The people you know that there's a good chance you're going to get along with. And you know what? Just because somebody likes the same thing as you do doesn't mean, you're going to be hitting it off. And in fact, doesn't mean you're going to get along. But it is an icebreaker, a way to step up to the plate and take a swing at giving human communication a shot. That's really to say it shouldn't be as difficult as we make it seem to be when it comes to making friends as adults. Again, when you're a kid, you walk into a room, you see a kid, yo, we're best friends now. Cool. That's it. No more conversation. It doesn't matter if you like the same stuff because you're gonna say you like the same stuff anyway. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, me too. Do you like this? Uh-huh. Sure. Whatever. Because kids want to fit in. Adults want to fit in too, but you know what? Kids, I think, are better lying about it. Kids know how to play along, can use their imagination a bit better than adults. And they're definitely less judgy about the things you like. When you're a kid and you're like, you like that Spider Man cartoon? Yeah. Cool. Me too. When you're adult, you like that Spider Man cartoon? No. Dick. See? It's more confrontational as an adult. But back to the point at hand, whatever that may be. Having friends is important. Friendship is important. I have a lot of people that are in my life. Maybe not necessarily ones that I would automatically label with friendship status. I'm the pedant about labels. I'm sorry. I can't help it because I think, just coming down to the definition of friends, because you have friends, you have acquaintances, you got people that are in your life that maybe you're not really sure how or why they got in your life. I think with friends, it could be like that. You go, how did I meet this person? And sometimes you're like, oh, they were just always there. And that's what it turns into. I mean, I have memories of people, and not even as a kid, just as a younger adult, where I see faces and I'm like, okay, I remember like driving this person around and hanging out, but I have no idea how or why that started. I also have no idea how or why that ended. And that's, I think, the biggest difference between being a kid and an adult. It's not meeting friends that's as different as losing friends. When you're young, everything's dramatic, everything's an ordeal. Somebody's not your friend anymore, and that's your world falling apart, right? And honestly, if you're not going to miss them, then were they really your friend to begin with? But as an adult, most of the time, you don't even realize that it's happening. Like I said, seventh grade. Seventh grade. That was 26 years ago. Me and this fool have known each other. And I can say fool because we're still friends. But we don't really talk. We don't really, contact each other. Whenever we do manage to get together, it's like we're still in middle school. We're stupid, make dumb jokes, talk about the same comic book stuff and movie stuff, and you know, bow down at the altar of Bruce Campbell. But neither one of us is really active in this relationship because, and God, I hate to say this because it means my father was right. He said, when you get older, he told me this when I was younger. He might have also mentioned it this morning. But he said, when you get older, you and your friends, you're going to find yourselves being busy. You're going to find yourself losing free time. And yes, I am making this much more eloquent than he ever did. But the gist of it was you're going to grow apart. Not because you had a fight, not because you're not friends anymore. Just you're both going to find yourselves being very busy. Busy with life. He got a family before I did, married, kids. So yeah, he got busy. He had to work, take care of his people. And then the same thing happened to me. I had to stop being a irresponsible adult. Mostly. Mostly. I did say I'm 39 and I play video games a lot. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because there are other people that have filled that position, not taking his spot per se, but uh, well, after all, that's a spot that can't be filled. Dude's been, if you want to use the term bestie, um, he's been there for 26 years, and he's the guy that I know if I ever need anything, bam, it's no questions asked. The guy that's like, where are we hiding the body? At least I assume so. I haven't really brought this up with him, but I found other friends in the meantime. Brandon, the Wadcast. We've talked about our friendship and how it grew there. Well, it didn't grow there, but it grew into the Wadcast as writing partners turned whatevs. Pardon me, that was probably gross. Brandon is someone that I am very close to, even though he's on the wrong coast. And of course, my boy, Skoy. We hung out for brunch. It's the only time we've actually met in person, but he's he's a good dude, and I'm very proud to consider him a friend. Zab, good people. There are sometimes people that you pick up along the way, and you're just not expecting to. Um, the guy that I've been dying to get in front of a microphone for a very long time, Charlie. If you're listening to this, yes, officially official. You're an awesome friend, and one of these days we're gonna hang out in a much less official capacity. It's it's weird, just the places that you'll find people that'll change your life, and it's always when you're not looking for it. Especially the ones that change you in ways that you never thought you could be changed. We've if you're a old school season one like listener of Josh's World, then you remember the conversations about Amber and how she is probably one of the closest people to me that could live. And yeah, it was intentional pushing this towards the end of the episode here because there are levels of friendship whether you realize it or not. I mentioned people that I very much care for, and that doesn't mean that just because I didn't name drop you on the episode, you're not good for it. Just there's only so much time, right? But Amber, no offense to my friends out there, but Amber's a entirely separate level. We've shared a lot of good experiences. Going to, what is it, Temple on Friday nights? And basic, one of my favorite stories to tell. I've told it here before. I don't remember what episode. Running. This is the person that made me fall in love with running. And unfortunately, because of recurring injury, I can't do that anymore. And that sucks. But I don't know. I'm trying not to get super sappy here because every single one of my friends has a special place inside my heart for uh, who they are, because of who they are. And I like to think that I don't keep around irredeemable people, which is, quite the loaded statement in and of itself, because maybe there aren't any irredeemable people. But there are things that can happen that I wouldn't forgive. Things that would make you lose friendship. And I was going to make a point about something. I don't remember what it was now. And this is what happens when you don't actually, have notes to look at, and you're just kind of doing a stream of consciousness thing. Haven't used that term since the first episode this season, so I am not beating that horse. Yay me. But I think the idea is set it right from the beginning. Everybody needs friends. It doesn't matter how many there are. It could be one really good one. This is what I tell my kids. Sometimes I will get a sad child walks the door and they'll say, "Dad, I only have like 2 friends." Like, are they good friends? Yeah. Well, you know what? Some people never have 2 good friends. Some people just have 50 people that they kind of know and get along with. So the number of the people that you call friends isn't nearly important as the quality of the people that you call friends. And all it takes is one good one, one best one, to keep you going. The one that will ride out the storm with you until it breaks and you get through whatever's going on in your life. Whether it's sickness, divorce, been through those. And going through it alone it's not fun. But knowing that there's a port in the storm, a place you can take comfort while the world around you falls apart. That's what friendship is. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to say much after that. So I'm going to thank you for tuning in. This has been... Oh, hey, Amber. See, this is why Amber is... one of the reasons why Amber's so awesome. She's in the Facebook chat. Oh, you want me to extend this shit? Okay. I'm gonna need a second, ladies and gentlemen. What I thought was the end is turning out to be not. Let's see. All right, I've sent that to the thing for the stuff, and I hope I'm not going to get chewed out for these lousy audio quality because that would be bad. And yeah, there's Matt telling me I need to be playing video games right now. Wow, it seems everybody's pretty active right now. I should have one of those things, those short videos that's like, I suppose I guess it would be a commercial, but I don't like ads. So maybe one of those let's all go to the lobby kind of deals. Okay, well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's him.
Hey, buddy, what you doing?
I'm doing a show,
What you doing a show about?
friendship.
That's a good one.
Talking about what it means to me and comparing it to when you were a kid and it seemed like it was so much easier and then what happens to all of those friendships as you get older.
I have two childhood friends that I'm still in contact with, but that's about it.
I pretty much have let's see. I guess since we're extending this a bit, Sean, like I said, well, let me back it up a bit. I got to Jacksonville when I was 13. I mean, I'd lived in Jacksonville before that, but then went away for a few years. And then I came back. And the first school I went to when I got back was Lakeshore Middle School. And that's where I met. Let me see if I can get this right. In order, Mike. And Mike introduced me to Sean. We were this, and there were a couple of others that I'm not. It's not important. We had this. They had this group that they let me join during gym class. They weren't exactly the participating type. So if you weren't participating, your job was essentially walk the track for the entire period. And that's what we would do. And Mike, and unbeknownst to me at the time, because I had no idea what D&D was, he would excuse me, sort of dungeon master these sessions of stories. And we didn't have dice or anything like that, so it was just it was fun. That's what it was. We spent 2 years playing this game where we were playing out our characters. And Sean and I got closer, and the summer would come along and I would walk to his house and he would wait for me sometimes. I'll be the first to admit that when it comes to friendship, sometimes I can be a little, would you say needy?
I wouldn't say needy. I wouldn't use that verbiage describing you as a friend.
Well, I like to know that when I need my people, they're there, even if it's for arbitrary reasons.
That's not real friendship, though. Real friendship is you can call somebody in the middle of the night and say, "Get here now," and they come.
I'll be honest. There's a few people that have done that. Called me in the middle of the night, and sometimes I woke up and I said, "Nah, we're not like that." Got invited to a girl's slumber party once, and after realizing that it was not the eyebrow waggle situation, I was like, nah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cool, right? Being the only guy there.
You chickened out. You said, "No way."
Well, honestly, the cake eating contest really threw me off. Watching these very, very attractive ladies pig out on a cake, no forks, no spoons, no plates, just like a pack of hyenas. I was like, oh, this isn't a turn on. This is not. No, I will never be able to unsee this. This is. Uh, I'm gonna go. Like, but you're the only boy here at this girl summer party. Don't you want to stay? No, no, I'm good. And they called me. They called me in the middle of the night. They're like, Josh, we heard something outside. Call somebody else. I'm sleeping.
They could have been really hearing something outside, you know.
Yeah, and they probably could have called someone bigger and stronger instead of me. I was
Yeah,
not
I do
exactly
remember a
imposing.
different Josh back in the day. Somebody pretty proficient in doing flag detail.
You know, you learn things. I was talking about you a little bit.
Oh yeah. You have
Yeah.
anything nice to say?
Um, I said you and me were I. You can't see my face.
Now
Um,
I can rewind it live and listen to you talking poo. Just remember.
no, it's I was mentioning that, you know, you got your friends, you got your best friends, and then I said that you and me we're on a completely like weirdly different level. You are the person that what found out on a Wednesday that my mom was sick, and by Friday you were on a plane heading my way. Someone that you'd never actually met in person.
I talked to her a lot, though.
Yeah.
I called her a lot. So Mama Chitty knew who was when I walked in.
And that's honestly, that was kind of weird to see at first.
I laughed my ass off because she didn't know who your sister was, but she knew who I was.
Yeah, it was a lot of people that have been there every day. She just like, huh? But as soon as you walked in, it was like, oh, it's my Amber.
Yeah. That picture stayed on that fridge for a long time. I think there's a difference in the friendship because of the hardship.
You saying we've been through some stuff?
We've been through a lot.
Nah, life's been nothing but peaches and cream for the both of us.
Rotten peaches with maggots coming out.
Gross.
For real. But, I mean, think about it. The last time we actually saw the group of people that we were messaging about, you picking up, driving, and me flying to North Carolina so that we can all meet, we have not seen each other in damn near
20 years.
20 years. I mean, I've seen Dusty in between, I've seen Hillary in between a couple of times, but all of us have not been together in one place. We have a bond that nobody else will understand.
Yeah, there are a few people that I still talk to from those days. And I mean few. I still hear from Curtis every now and then. Ben, as you listeners might know from the on very long hiatus Backstage Slam. That's where we met. Pratt still leave a comment or two on Facebook every now and then. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. It's a topic for a different episode entirely. But I'm gonna stand up for Mark Zuckerberg one time.
What?
I'm gonna stand up for Mark Zuckerberg one time and one time only.
You're going to Facebook jail?
No. I've been warned once after quoting basketball. And I was like, "You're stupid robot, never watches good movies." But with all of the stupid and downright idiotic things that people are allowed to get away with on Facebook, and with all of the vitriol and hate that people have for everything from their opposing political party to their opposing video game console, to their opposing wrestling company, to their opposing movie company. God, people are just so divided about everything. Why? Because everybody has a damn platform to be stupid. But the one thing that I think Facebook and Zuckerroony did absolutely right is giving everybody the ability to at least passively keep in touch. Because if this was back in the day, chances are,
we had MySpace. Come on. Where we could decorate our profiles at least.
And learn some sort of coding.
And put music and shit.
Let's see. What
Facebook, MySpace was like revolutionary, man. We could have like emo music and shit stuff. I don't know if your show's PG.
Well, I do not have the explicit content tag triggered.
That's why I said change my wording.
Yeah, we definitely did not appreciate Tom at the time.
No, we should have been more nice to Tom. Let him hang around MySpace a little bit longer.
But being able to, keep in touch in some way, shape, or form has been good. And networking. I'll give Brandon this shout out for encouraging me to use my social media to make connections rather than cyberstalk people that I knew 20 years ago. Oh God, 30 years ago. It's 30 years ago.
You're getting old, homie. You're getting old. What is your difference in qualifications as an acquaintance, as a friend, or as your confidant, the one person you go to every time something happens?
That's a good question. Okay. An acquaintance can be a Facebook friend.
Okay.
It is someone that you're maybe known to hang out with every once in a while, probably with somebody that you know a little bit better. So it's usually a three-person situation.
A throuple, huh?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And you're friendly, not overtly, maybe a little more friendly than some people that you call friends, because that's the thing about friends. You can bust their balls, and they're not going to get mad about it. I think that's one of the biggest differences between being an acquaintance and being a friend is how well they take your ribbing.
Okay. How do you establish the one person you're willing to contact who will always call you back?
Well, there's a couple ways that anybody could do it. My first way was they have to be named Amber. And know exactly what to say every time something goes wrong and I wind up calling.
That's a pretty bad bitch right there. Person.
I've done a lot of stupid things, and that's kind of where we could pick up with this whole relationship you had with my mom, because anytime my life would fall apart, I'd be sitting there in my own defeat, watching the world fall apart. And next thing I know, my mom would walk into the room and just hand me the phone. And you would be on the other end, ready and waiting to hear.
Cheer your ass out.
Yeah. So you did something stupid again, huh? Yeah.
With the same person again, huh?
Yeah.
Should've
Are you
learned
going to
the
do it
first time.
again? No. Are you going to do it again? No. And then I would do it
Damn
again.
it, you did it again.
But I haven't done it again.
Well, you better not. At least not with that person.
7-8 years. I think it might be safe to say.
Well, I think that people don't really understand our friendship because we didn't really explain how we met and why we stayed in contact.
Oh, you mean you haven't explained why we met, or how we met and why we got in contact? But honestly, on this show and in real life out there in the real world, it's a story I tell all the time.
You staring at me through the laundry room and passing me little notes so we didn't get in trouble?
Well, the frat mail network was strong everywhere.
Services was where everybody was at.
But I usually begin the story with, did I ever tell you the time that I was Jewish?
I do that too. I say, guess what? I'm a Mexican Jew. Everybody's like, what?
And then you go, well, here's the story. And it's a good story. All the way up from that first night going to the DFAC after a long service with Rabbi Weiss. Great man, by the way. You missed the high holidays that year.
That's because somebody helped me run that PT test so I could get the hell out of there.
He's I don't know if he still is, but I assume he is still a good man.
Yes. Actually, I think Hillary recently posted about him.
Good things, I hope.
Yeah. She did the full conversion, changed her name, did the whole 9 yards. She went a little bit farther than me, you, and Dusty did.
Wait. She wasn't?
She wasn't when we were going to just drink wine on Friday night.
I had no idea.
The first couple of times, but then after that, it grew on her. And apparently grew on her enough that it stayed. She switched religion and everything.
if I was apt to, or if I was prone to be religious, I would definitely be on board as long as Rabbi Weiss was my guy.
I know she posted about it a while ago. You should ask her because I think she ran into him somewhere.
I tell you, the only time that I felt really guilty about everything that was going on was during um, the holidays, where we would all gather around and break fast, and the rabbi looked at me and he was like, Chitty, that's hardly a Hebrew name. That's, tell me about where you're from. Tell him from Jacksonville. And he asked me, well, were you very Orthodox in Jacksonville? And I was like, no, we weren't. We definitely weren't Orthodox in our. And I was like, oh, how do I lie to this man without lying to this man? Because he is an awesome guy. And I have no doubt in my mind that he knew what was going on in some cases.
I'm pretty sure he saw people holding hands that weren't supposed to be holding hands.
You know what? I'm going to say it. Guilty.
And he didn't tell on anybody. He wasn't a
because
tattletale.
in that kind of environment, a little backstory here at the BCT environment, basic combat training. One of the first rules they teach you is, hey,
no touching, no touching, no touching.
Yeah, don't do that. No touching. This is not a place to flirt. This is not a place to hook up. This is a professional combat training unit, and you need to behave as such. Well, the thing is, if you're only there for a couple months, sure, you can put all that stuff on the back burner and ignore everything as best you can. But when you get hurt and you're sent to a PTRP and you're there for an extended period of time, when you're around people, people are going to start, having feelings and stuff. Because it's not like they were like, you're not allowed to talk to anybody ever. You're just not allowed to
fraternize.
Yeah.
I still got pictures of you.
Yeah,
How have we changed, boy?
I can tell you how I've changed. 185 pounds. That's how I've changed.
A little older, a little wiser, a little bit bigger. So
older, bigger, yeah.
You're gonna be the first person I tell this to, and since it's gonna be live, other people might hear it, but you're the only one that's gonna understand. I'm gonna go into the recruiter on Monday and see if I can go direct commission.
Now, for those of us that, for those people that may be listening, what does that mean?
Well, if you have a bachelor's or a master's degree, you don't have to go through officer candidate school or like JRTC at a college or fucking the military academy. I can walk in, show my 2 diplomas, and say, I want to get direct commission, and they'll give it to me. And then I have to go essentially do officer leaders course, which is around 8 weeks. So basically another basic for officers.
You can be an officer?
Yep, it's not going to be Sergeant Flo no more. It's going to be Captain Flo.
That means I have to salute you.
Hell yeah, dude. It's just an idea. I haven't worked out all the details just yet, but it's weighing heavy on my mind lately.
No, I'm I'm the guy that always says, if I could do it again, I would. But, actually finish. Because going some, okay, uh, going a little Fort Jackson talk here. There were a lot of people there, and when you're again in a PTRP situation where you're kind of sitting, and I was also Delta Company, which was, for lack of a better term, fat camp. So not only did I get there and I did not pass my initial physical assessment and had to stay in the reception battalion until I was qualified to leave. Then I got hurt and had to go back to reception battalion and sit and wait to heal. Well, when you're there for that long, you see a lot of people come and go, and you see a lot of personalities, especially when it comes to the not only the people you share the barracks with, but the people you share the battalion with, the people that have been there for a few days and they're just absolutely mentally breaking down.
Because they don't know what they signed up for.
They don't know what they signed up for. It's weird. I mean, honestly, I can say I didn't know what I signed up for because going back to Sean, I signed up because I was like, okay, if I sign up and if I lose a bunch of weight, we'll be able to go together. And it turns out that was not the case. They're like, oh, yeah, he's...
So you were trying the buddy program when you got left behind.
Yeah, essentially. And the only reason that I wound up going when I did was because my ASVAB score was basically flawless. And the people at the MEP station were like, hey, what job do you want? And I was like, I want to be 46 Quebec. And that was a journalist. And they're like, okay, the next shipping date is this. And I said, that doesn't work for me because WrestleMania is coming up and I want to leave after that. He gave me a look like I farted.
I still need to send you your hologram ticket, by the way.
Yes.
I still have it. We're still going.
They had it in Tampa 2 years in a row, and nope, didn't make either one. Next year's Texas.
I'll do Texas any day.
I just hope they, get good in the meantime.
True.
But the MEPS person was like, okay, that's not really how this works. You can't pick when you leave because we have to schedule it.
You could do delayed entry. I got held back 30 days until they had my job ready.
Would have been nice.
They just punked you.
But I said, look, I'm going to watch WrestleMania, and I'm not leaving until, after WrestleMania. And he's like, that's not how it works. I can't just look on here. He types up something. I can't look on here. Oh, I guess there is a ship date after WrestleMania. Okay, so yeah. Well, this is when you're scheduled to leave. I was like, oh, see, that wasn't so hard. All you had to do was, look it up on the computer. Did that hurt?
But I'll give you credit. I would have never left that dang place if it wasn't for you.
What do you mean?
Helping me make it around that damn track.
No, you misunderstand because you were helping me around the track.
No, having you there made me go faster, which made you go faster. Because we had to compete to see who could go the fastest. I think we were too tired to know who won.
I was just keeping up so I could, be with you.
I ran pretty slow.
I thought you were running pretty fast because I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm trying to keep up, and the drill sergeants were like, "You two need to separate." Like, no, we're pacing each other. Trying to get the time down.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't like. They didn't like it when people got along. But back to the original part about WCT environment. Yeah, going through the dining facility, the DVAC, you would see people in their gray sweats.
And crutches.
Yeah, sometimes they had crutches. But you'd see a few of them without shoelaces. And you knew basically everything you needed to know about what they were and weren't.
Avoid that table.
For. Now, personally, I thought it was one of the best times of my life because I got paid to work out every day, essentially, and hang out with some bros and talk wrestling. And admittedly, some rules were bent, if not completely shattered. Let's just say
I wouldn't say completely shattered.
Some of us found a way to keep watching wrestling, and some of us, not me. I'm never going to take responsibility for bringing in the contraband because I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I sure as hell know who did. Hearing everybody, talk about, we found tip and we found cigarettes and we found this and we found that. And it's like, and there's going to be a stakeout at the dumpster because there's going to, they think that's where the drop off is. And it's like, yeah, okay. And I'm not going to rat out who it was either.
Did you know Curtis ended up in Germany?
I did not.
While I was there, he was stationed about 30 minutes from where I was at. We hung out twice. Then I figured out he was a drunk. And I was like, I can't be around you anymore.
We met some good people over there.
He wasn't the same when he came back. Most people aren't.
I don't know if I was or not.
It left a lasting impact on your body.
It did. And that's one of the reasons why I've put on the, extra 185. Not being as nimble tends to have an impact on your ability to do physical things. For those of you that might have missed these episodes of Josh's World from back in the day, I think it was season 2. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
What had happened was, fresh out of Delta Company, Fat Camp, and going to actual BCT, it got to be time for the PT test. And for once in my life, I was actually looking forward to it, which was astonishing even to me. So I was looking forward to this test. Push-ups, no problem. Sit-ups, no problem. I was actually nailing it. Okay. I was crushing this test after being sent from a company that was full of people that had a hard time doing that. And it came time for the run, 2 miles. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can probably get a good running group, and I can do a good job. I'm like really fit right now. It's gonna be awesome. And then we started, independent stretching, and yeah, my knee decided to become an independent thinker and turned completely to the side. Bless you.
We have so many fires out here that the air quality is just shit stuff.
Take a sip. So my knee buckles, and it starts swelling immediately, just grapefruit size, quick. And I had this chip on my shoulder, and I got this feeling that the drill sergeants were like, "Oh, someone from the fat camp doesn't want to do it to begin with, so of course he's going to fake an injury," kind of thing. That was the vibe, and I felt like a moron that it was my duty to do the test. So they're like, "Chid, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "He'll be fine." It's like, "Can you run?" I was like, thinking to myself, and every once in a while in life, you'll get those moments where everything kind of stands still, and you know that the next thing out of your mouth will change your life forever. Because if I said, "No, I can't run," I know I wouldn't be where I am right now. I would be in a completely different place. You and I would have never met. My kids wouldn't be born. It would have been a completely different story of my life. Just from saying one word differently. But I said, "Yeah, I can run." So I lined up, and through excruciating pain on a torn meniscus, I ran. And I ran 2 miles. I finished the test. And I think if there was anything to be proud of, which looking back, no, being that stubborn is not something to be proud of. But if I could be proud of anything, it would be the fact that I didn't finish last. Even marching off the field that day, I was like, I made sure I was kind of towards the end of the formation, but when I started falling 10 feet behind, and then 20 feet, and the next thing you know, I'm 50 yards behind, and the drill sergeant was like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm good." And it wasn't until later that night where somebody was like, "Hey, yeah, you sure you don't want to get that checked out? You think you should probably go get that checked out." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. We're done training for the day, right? So yeah, I'll go get checked out." And they send me out, and when I come back, I'm back on crutches. Funny story. I was gone for a couple of days, and by the time I got back, in during that stretch of time, everybody was trained on how to sort their lockers, but I wasn't there. So when I got back, the drill sergeant had just finished
tossing
my locker, and everything was on the floor. And I walk in with crutches, and they're like, and the drill sergeant looks at me and his jaw drops. He's like, "Oh, you were the one that." Okay. Then he told the other people in my room to pick his stuff up. And yeah, just that look on his face when he saw that I was the soldier that was sent, you know, to the hospital, and he had made a mistake. But he's not allowed to say he made a mistake because that's, against the rules or something.
Do you want to know what my least favorite part of it was?
What's that?
Being tits to asses with like 100 different people just so I can shower for 2 minutes.
It's weird because in the guy's shower, there was plenty of room.
When you got over 50 women and only 3 stalls, it's tits to asses. And somebody's washing your back while you're washing the other person's back. You just straight up tits to ass.
You had stalls?
Yeah, there were 3 of them.
We had like a room.
Like PTRP open bay little shower thing?
Yeah.
Because I was an Alpha company, so we had 3 stalls, 3 shower stalls, and 1 toilet stall. So if someone's taking a shit, you were screwed.
If you want to talk about friendship, you find yourself maybe not necessarily making friends, but certainly being more comfortable with a group of guys that you have to be completely naked around.
I'd tell you a funny story, but if I told you, Hillary would kill me.
Then we could do that off the air.
Yeah, we'll do that. It was pretty damn funny.
But it is a good place to make friends. I'm not saying go there and, hey, I'm here to make friends, guys. But you will definitely find out who your people are real quick. Because even though you're all one uniform and one, military mind, it still clicks up just like high school.
I didn't thank you for calling me. When I was in the hospital, and I had to get Anna to get a hold of you because I couldn't. But I forgot to tell you thank you for calling.
Well, had to make sure you're okay.
Getting there.
Say again?
We're getting there.
I haven't talked about what's going on with you on the show in that particular instance. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very open about everything that happens in my life here. Last week we had that epic episode of dating websites and profiles and how terrible they are, and the downright arbitrary. I'm very picky. I'm extremely picky when it comes to people that I'm like, okay, I approve of this profile, because more often than not, I'm like a 98, 99% rejection rate with people and their profiles, because people are awful. And the funny thing about dating websites is they're not ashamed of how awful they are. I respect people that are upfront with who they are. They're like, I'm in a relationship, we're polyamorous. Fine, cool. That's not a position I want to be in because reasons. But more power to you. But
if you're willing to share the goodies, more power to you.
I mentioned it last week. I grew up in a time, the 80s and 90s, where AIDS was a much bigger crisis than I guess it is now. And we were taught to be very afraid of, you know, hookups. Some people not didn't take that lesson to heart, but we also saw the pictures of, what happens to your junk when diseases start infecting it. And it's like,
Come on.
okay,
I don't want to
I'm
talk
good.
about scabies sores, some
But
herpes, syphilitis. Gross.
I guess the what I'm trying to say is I talk about my stuff. I'm not going to be talking about the personal details of the people associated with me. Like, I'm not going to put your business on Front Street, even if it is like crazy pressing on my mind.
We can chat after.
And that's why we are what we are.
You better plug in that damn Prius. We got somewhere to be.
It takes gas. It's a hybrid, so we're good. But does this mean I have to clean out my car?
Well, I mean, you don't want Hillary to see a dirty car. She's going to be riding up to South Carolina with you. I'm flying my ass there, Dusty, and Porsche are already there.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. But what do I do with my kids? My kids.
When's spring break?
March.
Leave them at home. They're old enough. Give them a little bit of responsibility and freedom. Or send them over to Nana's house.
And that reminds me, there's stuff that I need to catch you up on.
Oh, okay. How long are you wanting to stay on this thing?
Well, I was
Since you were going to
like
cut it short
45
until I
minutes
came
ago.
on. You know me, I'm a late starter. I saw it and said, shit, I'm out of time.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to clear my throat in everybody's ears. Okay. So before we wrap things up, I'm just going to, give a couple of shouts. Michelle, Sean's wife, also a very good, very very good friend of mine. I'm not going to have an episode about friendship without mentioning your name, Anna. We hung out the one time, but we've been down the clown. I guess that's not an euphemism of any kind, I hope. And we're doing, have fun hanging out. And let's see, Ben talked about Ben and, BSP. I'm gonna, you know what? That's a name for a different episode. Kente. Kente is one of the few people that I allow to use the term uncle when he's talking about my kids. It's like, when are you going to send the kids to see Uncle Kente? Like, yeah, because Kente's a cool guy. And whenever whenever I want to talk, he's usually there to talk about most anything we'll stay on here for hours, just like trading music videos back and forth. Watching stuff from the '90s, blowing my mind at how eclectic his taste is. And
Long live hair bands.
oh, by the way, I watched a documentary about Woodstock '99 this morning.
I got a good way we can close out the show, Josh.
Okay, sure.
You ready?
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Amber.
Till next time, meaning 5 minutes so we can switch on to Messenger.
Okay. Just for the record, if you like what you hear today, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to, I don't know, buy some stuff from Semicore Studios, you can go to here. I'll give you a second to write that down, everybody. tpublic.com/.
I totally read that wrong, and I was like, what? Pee in public?
And if you are one of those few people that are like, I like the show enough to tip the guy, patreon.com/Semicore. There's a few interesting perks for the different tiers, but you know what? It's up to you. I'm not pushing a Patreon. I'm not trying to say, I want this to be my full-time job. And it's like, would it be cool? Sure. But only if you want. So until next time, remember, everybody, this is Josh's world.